Yes, higher then and there. His past has no meaning as to whether or not he can fix what needs fixing. He served his time, though I'll look into the details later. If a customer comes in and doesn't like it, then they can kindly get out of the store because they are probably not going to be a very nice customer. Everyone deserves a second chance, and if it is a case of statutory grape, then I have no ill because that charge is doo-doo. Though if I find out he had sex with a 7-year-old girl, well, it had better been consensual. What? How, sir? How? How? That's literally like trying to say that your dog gave you consent. 7 years, bro. 7. Consensual. 7. To say it's not full grape, what does that mean? It's not full grape. If grape, I'm not going to like him much at first. What did I say? I just said this. These people really think that if a girl's resisting in the beginning, it means that she's not gonna like it at first, but she will grow to like it. That's literally what we call y'all know what I'm saying. That's literally what that is called. When you take a little girl or boy and you literally train them sexually to do sexual acts, and in the beginning they don't like it, but they learn to like it. That is literally, bro, that's Stockholm syndrome. That's like you're basically falling for the person who's basically hurting you. And that's not even Stockholm syndrome. That's just them getting used to the abuse. What are you talking about? But if the alleged victim forgives him, no hard feelings. Are you kidding me? That is literally Stockholm syndrome, dude. That is no. There should be hard feelings in your book. Now, a person can truly forgive another person for committing a heinous act against them. But the way this man's putting it is like, oh, the grape didn't matter now. No. Many shall disagree with me. In before, what do you mean consensual? Dude, like there's no consent with 7, dude. So I've got a question for people out there in the world. Joe McTech dude is a technician who has never missed a day of work, is bright. Oh my days. I'm a nice guy, so it's okay if I do one bad thing, right? I'm a nice guy, so it's okay if I take advantage of a child, right? If that child came on to me, if that child lifted up her skirt in front of me, that's okay, right? Because I'm a nice guy. I'm not these weirdo dudes that's gonna force themselves on people. I'm not a messed up person. I don't have a track record, so that's okay, right? I never asked for a raise. You don't personally know Joe, but you've heard a lot of good things about them. One day Joe gets arrested for sexually hurting a child. You do not know the age of the child. Why does that matter? That is why there is such a term called child. It categorizes the age of a person. Child, girl, woman, adult, man, boy. These are terms to help categorize a person, to help label a person, to build an image, sir. That's why we have terms. How he feels on the matter. It's like saying, oh, I may have, been sexually active with my dog. So because my dog can't protest or doesn't fully understand what happened and still loves me, that means it's okay. Wow. If it's actually true, whatever. All you know is that he was arrested for assaulting a child. Many years later, after being released from prison, he has been filed in the system for his crime, and everyone on your block has been informed of what he is. For some reason, you are an owner of a local electronics general tech. About a week after Joe has entered your neighborhood, he comes into your office and explains that due to his past, he's been unable to get a job anywhere in town, that his profession as a tech guy can be used. He claims that no one will hire him due to his crimes he's committed. Good. There's not enough consequences for people like this, so good. Joe has made no mention of why he committed the crimes he did, or if he feels bad about what he did, etc. All you know, wait, what? Joe has made no mention of why he committed the, why? Why wouldn't you ask him why you did that? What? Why would you hire if someone commits a crime and you hire them without asking why they did it, then it's your fault if they end up hurting you or your business. What in the world? What if he's psychotic? Like, you should know why he did it, dude. Or if he feels bad about what he did, you should know that. All you know is that he was recently released from jail, that his crimes were that of sexual hurt of a child, and that his resume he turned in is the best you've seen in months, as he has worked for many top-of-the-class companies. You are now given a choice. You may not ask any questions to Joe regarding his past. You must choose if you hire him on the spot, or if you don't. I don't hire him. I do not hire someone who has hurt a child. Seriously, have you ever met an actual 7-year-old? What? What is this? There's no way they have anything like the maturity level to consent. Exactly. And claiming so is a common justification people who hurt children use for their crimes. Exactly. I have a 7-year-old sister, and I can tell you now that if anyone had, relations with her, supposedly consensual or not, I'm not exaggerating when I say they'd be lucky to still be alive by the time I'm finished with them. Knowing that someone had done that, I just couldn't employ them. I'm all for second chances, but I couldn't stand to be in the presence of a child, someone who hurts kids, which is true. And then he responds, actually, many 7-year-olds actually do have... No, they do not, bro. 7-year-olds, like a dog, do not have maturity. Because, again, and I keep mentioning a dog because dogs are known to have the same level of awareness as little children. So to say that, it's just wild, man. Like, what are we talking about? I know a 5-year-old with more maturity than... No, you don't. You don't know a 5-year-old with more maturity than one of your 35-year-olds. No, you do not. The 5-year-old may have said something that makes more sense than a 35-year-old because they are operating on more straightforward information than the 35-year-old who may be confusing themselves on an issue. This is the same as saying these 6-year-olds in the school are more intelligent than these liberal women who are saying that there are a billion genders because they believe that they are 2 genders, which there are, right? It's the same thing of taking that and saying that they are more mature than a 45-year-old liberal woman. No, sir. No. They are just less confused. Yes, he indeed needs to stop making phallus jokes. I personally cannot blame you, as I would probably do similar under the same circumstances. Then why are you justifying them? Though it would have involved just decking her so hard it would shatter their jaw, then CQCing them to the ground, I know what that means, or ripping their testicles, ovaries out through their mouth, whichever seems more viable at the time. Why are you defending them? What is this? But we don't know if it is actual child or she's turning 18 in 5 minutes. Book him, bro. Though if it was a genuine case of mole, then once again, I'm not going to like the guy, but if the victim forgives, I forget. Bro, my days, bro. Though considering who I am somewhat naturally inclined by my 24/7 paternal instinct to hate them a bit more than everyone else. No, you don't. Cap, you're lying. If you're saying that you are really not against statutory rape and you're not really against 7-year-olds having sexual relations, if they literally forgive the person and you're not against that, no, you do not, sir. You don't. You would be one of those parents who's in support of that. If your child was 11 and had sexual relations with 16, 17-year-old and was like, no, it's cool, daddy. It's fine. I wanted to do it. You would accept it. You would just let it slide. Nothing in your head would be like, maybe my kid's being manipulated. You wouldn't think that. You literally wouldn't. And that would be the case. he just better not do it again. Oh, please. Because then comes the void. They'll rip them to shreds. The void? What are these people? The other guy was calling himself the Godfather. What? Do you want people live in reality? What is this? Jeez. Anyways, as a Christian, God can forgive anybody. And as Christians, it would be hypocritical for us to not accept that a person has changed by God changing them. But again, we are to test their actions to see if they've changed. And we don't necessarily forget what they've done. We just keep that in mind, but we don't obviously judge it against them. If the person did do these things in their past and they served their time and they did all of that, and they are now Christian, then yes, I would be more inclined to forgive them if I can see that they actually are Christian. Because of course, it'd be hypocritical for me to deny that. No, just know, neither children's minds or bodies are designed for sex, however mature you consider them to be. I'm not going to lie, your mindset worries me very much, as that's the sort of excuse which people who hurt children use to justify their crimes. Even if now you think you wouldn't, it would be very sad for you to destroy both your own life and that life of a child for a foolish moment of pleasure. True, just factual. And I agree, this is extremely worrying. In mindset, children can comprehend. Bro, no, they cannot, bro. They cannot comprehend sex, bro. They can't do it. This creepy, constant example from these people of, oh, a child understands that the sun can set, and a child can understand this, and a child can understand that. This kid can understand math of the level of 16-year-olds, right? They seem to be more mature than them. Bruv, it doesn't matter. You cannot comprehend sex. But this really isn't the place to discuss. You brought it up, bro. My mindset worries many people, including the FBI, NSA, DHS, and the CIA, because I defy classification, yet I am no threat. What? Bro, you're not a hero, bro. What is it? What is this? I am a man of science. I am not, bro, it's not science. It literally is not scientific to say that children can engage in sexual activities. It literally is unscientific. It is against biology, sir. That is why children who have been hurt through those experiences get bruises and they will bleed profusely down there. And some of them, depending on how insane the damage is and how deluded the abuser was, like you, that child ends up not being able to have kids in the future. If it's a boy, that boy obviously gets a ton of damage down there. What are you on about? And we're not even talking about the psychological damage that they would have with sex and how they think of sex as they grow up from that experience. You need not worry, for I would never do such. I don't believe you, by the way. I do not believe you. Whether you're going to be complicit in it or you doing it, I don't believe you, sir. If we continue this, it should be in private messaging. This topic is bait. In this instance, you have to assume he did it. Exactly. If that is so, you should not hire him. There are plenty of jobs where he wouldn't be around children, adolescents. If he really can't find a job nearby, he has to move there. That's the price you would pay for hurting a child. Exactly. Why are we removing the consequences here? Yet that is a form of prolonged punishment. I don't care, sir. Do not hurt children. What? It's like having a sign over your head saying, hey, I did something that I regret and I want a second chance, but you think I deserve to be forever punished. Kick me in the gonads. Bro, you knew the punishment. If you're an adult and you did this, you know the punishment, bro. You know it. It is one of the most infamous things a person could do. Everybody knows the punishment. Women know, men know, everybody, bro. Come on. Too many holes that need to be filled in before I can say yes. Exactly. There's too much going on, bro. Like, why did you do it? I can't hire a person who's committed a crime and he doesn't tell me why he did it, bro. I'm sorry. Nah, bro. No. If it was statutory rape, I hire him. I get it in terms of if the dude was like 2021 and he did it with somebody who's 16 and somebody who's 16, 15, you know, stuff like that. I understand where you're coming from. That's still messed up to me. That's still no. That's still just weird, because again, if I don't know the reasons why and how he committed the crime, then no. Not every single 16-year-old is gonna fully understand what they're getting themselves into, the damage it's gonna cause, bro. Like, come on now. Or 15 or 14 or whatever. That it gets worse every time we lower the bar. If it was for going after little kids, he leaves before I kick his teeth in, because studies show that real people who hurt children are unlikely to change. Exactly. Like, they're unlikely to change because now they got a taste for it because they've actually done it now. It's a different story if it's somebody who may have had those thoughts, or somebody who may have, for instance, watched stuff like hentai that portrays people who are younger, like they have the bodies of people who are younger, as we know, the lolly community. It's something different if it's somebody from there who's like, okay, actually, nah, this stuff is messed up, and they realize that this stuff really is messed up, and it's starting to mess with their minds and do some messed up stuff to them, and they're like, nope, I don't want to do this. That's different. Or somebody who would watch anime and the girl would be portrayed sexually, the little girl would be portrayed sexually. I get that. I understand when that person is like, okay, I don't want to do it no more. But if it's somebody who's genuinely done it, brother, you got a taste for it now. How do you go back without God? How are you going back without God, sir? How are you doing it? Because now you actually have a taste for it. Now you have experienced it in whatever way you have. Now your mind starts to think, oh, what if we did this? What if next time we did this? Your mind is going to keep thinking of ways that it could have done better. New experiences. Like, no, bro. Fun stuff to know. In some jurisdictions, getting busted urinating in public can earn you a spot on a sex offender registry. That's stupid. That one's stupid. It's dumb. Obviously, it's all based on context. Like, if you're peeing in front of a bunch of kids and you're doing, like, you're not under the influence and you are just sober and you're doing it, then yeah, you should. But if you're drunk or you're on drugs, or you just doing it in public and no one sees you except the cop, or like you're super pressed and you do it behind a bush, come on, that's yeah. Studies also show only 5 to 15% of people who are children are actual child lovers. Not only if that stat is true, 5 to 15%, you want to take the chance that that person's part of 15%? Really? Also, that's dumb. If you commit the act, you are one. It's like, say, that study is stupid. If you made that up, wow. If you didn't, and there's like a weird study like this that exists, that is dumb. It's basically like saying 5 to 50% of people who've killed people aren't really murderers. Like, no, even if you did it out of self-defense, you still kill the person. Why are we changing definitions, people? Why are we changing terms? What is this obsession of our generation, of our current era, to change terms? Bro, if you committed the act, you are the thing that you've done. What? You can change or not be that no more, but you were still it. And that only 2 to 7% of people who love children actually hurt children. So yeah, let's take the chance. I don't believe that, by the way, because that study would be based upon how many children actually came out, how much evidence there was to prove certain cases. I'm pretty sure it's higher than that. Pretty sure. I would hire him based on his excellent resume. People can change, and his criminal past has nothing to do with his new job. Again, you don't know if he's changed if you don't know why he did it, how he committed the act. If you don't understand his psyche, you can't say that he's actually changed. You don't know that. You don't know. He literally said, you don't know. How can you say he's changed? If you don't know why someone beats somebody up, like, let's say they committed domestic violence, right? How can you say they changed? Like, what? People should have the right to get a job based purely on their professional merits, not including unrelated past events. So Harvey Weinstein should continue to work in the industry, correct? Once he's gone through his prison time and he's able to return, or he's acquitted or whatever, then it's fine. I don't know what acquitted exactly means, so don't cook me in the comments. But then it's fine that he just gets his job back? Like Kevin Spacey? It's cool though. You know, Jeffrey Epstein, before what happened to him, it's cool that he just gets his job back. He goes back into his position after everything he's done. Like, seriously, use your heads, man. Honestly, no one is gonna hire a murderer just because they're an incredible artist. No one's doing that. No one cares if they don't, like, if they're out of prison. We know the justice system in nearly every single country is nonsense. We know that. The justice system is broken. You're going to trust the justice system over the actions of a person? On the other hand, if he has a personality that I simply can't stand, possibly related to criminal, you wouldn't know because you can't ask why he did what he did. Jeez, man. Then I wouldn't hire him. But that would be because I'd know he wouldn't be able to work well together if we constantly kept clashing. What? So you would only not like him if he's annoying you? If he's annoying, oh yeah, he doesn't just, how, okay, logically, how does that make sense? You wouldn't hire him if he's annoying and if he has a personality that clashes with you, but you would also hire him unrelated to past events, even though past events would say something about his past and his own personality. That, like, okay. It keeps going. Lord Nemesis, let's see what you got. Depends on the person hiring. Professionalism or personal morals. Personally, I would hire him. It's a bad world and most of us become bad to survive. Wow. Yeah, alright. Yeah, the people who hurt children, hey, it's not their fault, it's the world's fault. Right? It's the world's fault. They love kids? Oh no, that's the world's fault. That's the world's fault. Dog eat dog, as they say. Okay. That's not what the expression means. Literally not. I am one of those people. I don't believe in providing aid to Africa. What does that have to do with anything that's being discussed? Oh, this person is right-wing, bro. Man, these people make it bad for us out here, man. Aid to Africa or helping them grow, sending a certain superpower's armed forces to take out a certain warlord in a certain African country, and to do what effect? It's called politics, sir, but you wouldn't know about that. Friendlies dead, locals dead, and finally warlord taken out. Few months later, another one pops up, pointless and wasted blood spilled. Okay, now, to touch on that, because we're diverting a little bit, but whatever. It's because of political power, it's because of keeping your promises, it's because of having more political sway within that country. If you save a country from going into civil war, the people in, not only the people on the ground, but the people in powerful positions will be more accepting of you and whatever businesses, whatever political advice you have, whatever direction you want them to go. You have more power in that field and they will listen to you better. And the better reputation you have, the easier it will be to basically take over that place. Just because people do a bad job of helping others doesn't mean we should stop helping others if we can. Anyway, back to the question. Yes, I would hire him. I'm not hiring him to look after children or be a saint. Bro, okay, you are so dumb. Okay, here's why. Here's the number one reason why they do not get jobs. Here's why. Because they can use the money that they earn and the reputation that they gain to do the crime again. So if they start to scrub their name and start to basically portray themselves as a better person who's responsible, has a job now, who has money, they could easily position themselves in a field of power over a child. Just a wild example. Let's say there's a kid who comes into the store and they want to fix a laptop. They want to fix their graphics card. Like maybe something happened. I don't know. They want to do something technological wise. And the normal cashier is not there, right? Maybe they took a break. Maybe they forgot something, whatever. They're not there. That person could then position themselves in a place of power by basically trying to set up a private meetup with that child and trying to get favors from that child in order to fix their machinery. If the child refuses, maybe it starts off small, like, oh, if you show me this, if you show me that, I'll do this for you. If you show me this, I'll do this for you. And maybe the child doesn't fully get it or doesn't fully understand, so they do it. They know it's weird, but they do it anyway. They're like, whatever, right? Whatever, I'm gonna do it, right? Or maybe they're a teenager and they're thinking, whatever, he's a pervert, but I just want my thing fixed. And what if they put something in the computer that could potentially give them more power? What if they fix it wrong on purpose so that the person can keep coming back? Or what if they put certain malware in there that they can control remotely from their own computers to be like, okay, like if you don't send me these certain pictures, I'm going to scrub all the information from your laptop. If you tell the police, I'm going to do this. If you, like, come on, bro. Like, obviously that's a bit of an extreme example, but it's not far-fetched. And again, kids are kids. The strong will to challenge that person. They're gonna think, if I just do this, I know this person's never gonna release these pictures because they'll get in trouble if I do it anyway and they fix my thing. Or what if they basically befriend the kid and start to do favors for the kid, to be in good standing with the kid, so that they can then get more favors from them? What if they're 14, 13, bro, and they're coming in with their parents, but their parents go to the car and they get busy or something, or their parents leave them and will come back to collect them? Like, what are we talking about? And what if they don't even do that and they just use their money to travel to places where there are kids, to then potentially use their money to coerce more kids and buy them stuff? And the whole point is to take away any form of power that this person can have in the future to be over children. They don't have to work in places where directly there are kids. They can still gain some form of advantage. They can still use money to get what they want. I am hiring to work as a tech dude, which he can do very well. I look after me and my own. Yeah, we can tell. Couldn't care less about anyone else. He comes after my kids, he dies. Honestly, this is such a bad mentality. It's the other kid's parents' problem. That's great. That's a great mindset to have, kid. Oh my gosh, we're still going. Why not? As much as I despise the idea of child sexual, obviously hurting the kid, another life does not have to be needlessly ruined so everyone else can have an arbitrary moral high ground. What? It is not an arbitrary moral high ground to not want these people to have a job. They do not, brother. They literally deserve what's happening. They deserve worse, in my opinion, okay? What are we talking about? Honestly, what are we talking about here? What are we doing here? How can you be a human and say this? Honestly, how? Wow, you guys are evil, man. It's pathetic. Actually, you know what? You can be a human to say this. Forgive me for that. You really can be. This is real typical behavior. I would keep watch on him, however, and if he's a repeat offender, I may reconsider. Only reconsider? Not outright say no, you would only reconsider? Okay. Having an innate distrust of every single human being on this planet, I hire him. Wow, that's great. So the child's lying. Okay. If he's that valuable of an employee, his past doesn't really matter to me. However, at first sign of that past coming back, you won't be able to see him because he doesn't want to get arrested again, dummy. That's the point. That's why you don't give these people power, because they're gonna wise up and not be as dumb. If he's a first offender, of course he's gonna make mistakes over someone who is experienced. Like, oh my. He will be let go. Basically what this guy said, I'd definitely hire him, but on a one-strike basis. So it's fine if he hurts a kid again. That's cool though. Because of my job, my work. Again, if the dude's actually changed and actually gotten better, I'd still feel weird about this, but these people don't even care if it's real. Like, if he actually is a changed person. The instant there's a sign he might try something again, he'd be fired. To interject slightly, I am not really sure what science you are subscribing to, but science hardly puts such a blanket term over complex issues such as child mentality development without evidence. Bro, there literally is evidence of children having severe psychological trauma from this, bro. No matter how gentle the person may have been, no matter how small the sexual acts, there is trauma. The way that they view sex is changed forever. Many of them even struggle to see sex as an enjoyable thing, regardless in whatever context, because they keep getting flashbacks of them being harmed by the people that they love. So that connection of intimacy with sex is broken, and it takes years to be repaired. Even if they're with somebody that they love and they want to express love to, they can't do it for a long time, and they need a lot of practice and small steps to get over it, because they were hurt by somebody that they loved, or somebody that they thought loved them. Whether it's a parent, it's somebody that they befriended, it's somebody in a position of power that they trusted. Like, what are you talking about, bro? What is this? There is evidence. You can't simply say that a 5-year-old is as mature as a 35-year-old. That is your own opinion, not fact. Exactly, right? Come on. Yes, children are more aware than what we have come to expect. What does this mean? But the extent of their awareness differs from individual to individual, culture to culture, place to place, etc. Okay, yes, but still, even the brightest of kids will not fully understand what sex is, sir. Saying children can comprehend many things doesn't necessarily mean they will understand or cope with issues such as trauma, abuse, or sexual encounters. Exactly. Interjection approved. I subscribe to I Am an Idiot monthly. What? But in all seriousness, my statements are fueled by observation, non-sexual. I am no stooge. What? And in such process, I am using a blanket statement. For that, I am an idiot. But I believe that children can indeed process very complex things, but of course there are many factors. No, they literally cannot. Bro, please stop trying to basically put it as, oh, we have a show called Are You Smarter Than a 10-year-old? Are you smarter than a 15-year-old? So that means that these kids, because they can comprehend complex issues in math and in physics, that means that they can also handle sex. No, these are not equatable. Your argument legit is a non sequitur to say they can understand these other complex things like death and such, but they can't fully. That means they can potentially also understand sex. No, sir. It's not the same. Well, it's personal opinion, but if said person did it with said child consensually and the child did not feel scarred or... Oh my... Bro, the scarring happens when they grow up, when they realize and process what they've actually gone through. Honestly, have you seen any of those no jumper interviews where the corn stars would be like, oh, I had sex with grown men when I was like 14, when I was like 15. And they'll be like, that was still messed up. They would say that, and they will come out and be like, sometimes I wouldn't tell them how old I am. Sometimes I would basically lie about my age. They would come out and say stuff like that and basically try and take responsibility away from the guy, even though the guy probably knew based upon how the person looked like, or basically how the person acted. Like, bro, sometimes, like, genuinely 14, you can't tell 14. Anyways, and they will say themselves that once they realized how messed up the action that they've done, they will have that scarring, they will have that trauma. That was not a real sentence, forgive me. But they will genuinely be scarred by the experience afterwards, and they will tell you, corn stars will tell you it was messed up. Instagram models will tell you when they used to get flown out to do it when they were too young. They'll tell you it was messed up. But you think that some regular kid in some middle family neighborhood will just be okay with it? When someone whose profession is sex is saying, no, I probably shouldn't have done it, or it was messed up, or it really did scar me in the end? Like, what? Really? Just because a kid, when they're like 11, says, when you ask them, does it hurt? Like, did I hurt you? Or do you still love me? Or they don't express anything and they just stay silent. It doesn't mean that they enjoy it. Just because they smile at the end doesn't mean that they're happy about it. They're doing it to appease you because they love you, or they see you in a position of authority, in a position that they can trust you in. And so they think that you know better. So that's why they smile, because they're thinking, oh, they know better than me. They say that this is good. So it is good. How many times have we seen children imitate grown adults and do messed up stuff? And it was consensual at the time. The law might frown upon it, but I have no issue with them. Bro, I'm sorry, but you are part of the... Actually, no, I'm not sorry. You are part of the problem. No harm, no foul. But I do not condone. You just said if a child consents, but you also don't condone maul. Are you kidding me, bro? The people that manipulate children or outright abuse them like that have no... Brother, the kids are being manipulated because they don't know what they're doing. This might not be the best place to talk about this. No, it is. So that we can kind of see y'all out in the open. I'm glad y'all are exposing yourselves, to be fair. I would think generally a girl that young is inexcusable. Literally is. Yes, it makes it marginally better if the girl was in essence okay. No, they can never be okay. What is this conversation? What is it? It's like saying, oh, my dog still wags my tail at me even after I hurt them. So that means they're okay with what I've done. Bro, they're a dog. They don't understand. They never will understand. In the same way that it's marginally better to suffer a few hours of torture if at the end you're given a candy bar. Exactly, like what are we talking about? It's basically that, like those people with the candy, oh, I'll give you candy as long as you do what I say. But someone that young cannot give informed consent. They can't, literally cannot. That's saying I'd still hire the guy. Oh my days. He made his mistakes. Not many people would be willing to give him a second chance, but I would. Though I suppose around the ages of 12 and above, 12, this man just said, the lines of consent become blurry. 12 and above. I know 12-year-olds with more sexual... How would you know this information? How would you know 12-year-olds with more sexual experience than most of your friends? How would you know this? How would you know this information? Did they tell you? Why would they tell you? Who are you to them? Are you talking about like your siblings, your cousins? Are you talking about the neighbors' kids? Like what? This statement needs more clarification. Please. You can't say that, bro. And expect us not to suspect you of being a person who harms children. Because how did you get to this point? How did you get to this conversation with them? To know most child predators strike again, and if children were in the store, it would be too much of a temptation for this guy and a liability. Literally the example I gave. Literally. If the kids are in the store at some point, and this man has gotten the taste, he's going to be tempted to do it. And he will have the position of power and the finances to do it, bro. Come on. Ignoring the fact, the whole point of this topic is that you don't even know what he actually did. That's literally the problem. You're thinking in the most positive way possible. We're thinking in the most logical way possible. Sorry. Because there is no genuinely... What are the bright spots to having hurt a child in that way? What are they? What way can you clear yourself? What positives are there except he didn't physically put his thing inside them? And the fact that we're talking about statutory rape and then we're lowering the ages? No, sir. So it could well be he had consensual sex with a 17-year-old and the whole thing got blown out. No, it didn't get blown out of proportion because people keep lowering the age. The man before just said 12 years old, sir. There was a guy who said 7. So no, we're not blowing anything out of proportion. These people are freaks. They're criminals. And no, it's not true that if it was the case, he would tell you. Bro, it's a scenario he put up. I don't care if he's telling me the truth. He better tell me something. His ability to explain the situation is being arbitrarily held back by the hypothetical... Because this whole thing is a hypothetical. What are you talking... You're trying to make this real when it's... You're dumb, bro. Certainly. Would I care? Of course the concern is, will he break his parole? That's not my problem. That's his. Wow, it's not even the kid's problem. It's not the parents' problem. You don't care about the kids. You don't care that he would strike again. If he would scar someone's child, you genuinely don't care. You don't care if he's going to keep doing it over and over with multiple children. because he now has the financial means to continue this? Okay, that's great. Of course, people say he's a person who loves children. He doesn't deserve work. And sorry if I'm having to censor that, but YouTube's weird about these things. Well, I say, shut up. Anyone deserves to contribute to society. Okay, murderers, rapists, cannibals, all those people are cool then. I genuinely want to know, if I was to say, would you say that Ted Bundy or any of these insane people deserve to work? I wonder if he would say the same thing. If he does, then wow. And the man is well experienced, so as long as he doesn't reoffend, how would you know? The point is, how would you know? He would be better at it. He literally would be better. There was no big deal. Besides, as far as I know, he had sex with an 18-year-old is not statutory rape. Literally nowhere. There's no place in the world where if you do it with an 18-year-old, it is considered statutory rape. None. It's stupid and illegal, but even if it was a 12-year-old, here we go. That doesn't mean he's going to assault any kids that come into the store. You're an idiot and you are an enabler. End your presumptions, people. Also, he's not in sales, but in the... It doesn't matter. There could still be a situation where he can still figure out information on the person who brought in the actual equipment, figure out, oh, they have a child, and start to stalk that child on Facebook or whatever social media, gather information about that child, and build up a personality so that that child can assume that they are good friends. Come on, man. How are y'all not thinking of any of the scenarios I just gave? I'm not smart, man. I'm just normal like any other person. Like, how are y'all not thinking of any of this? So interaction with the public would be minimal. In summary, here's my view on, the whole act of loving children. I'm fine if you're a person who loves children. Just don't actually assault any kids. This is the same reason I'm for animated, lolly. You know, the kind where a child was never actually beat. The whole issue with lolly is that it ends up inspiring certain sexual attractions within your brain. Your brain, when it starts to imagine certain things, it puts it in a certain context that only you would enjoy. When you get to that extent, it's kind of like being into like the hentai where the horse is having sex with a woman and stuff like that. Really, there's no point of return at times. Because now, when you go back to regular porn, it's hard for you to enjoy it. You're attracted to a certain type of girl. And yes, there are many women who are older who have a certain childlike body type, who have no real chest. They don't really have, a big posterior. They're smaller, they're shorter. Yes, women like that exist. But the danger is that it inspires that and it makes you okay with that. That's the danger with lolly. And usually, if you've ever gone into the comments of people who would comment on lolly pictures and lolly videos, yeah, I wouldn't believe that these people wouldn't also do it to a child because of their attraction. Because they are the way that they describe the sexual experience they would have with that lolly sounds like what a child lover would say. So that's the problem here. You could put up the comments of people who are child lovers next to comments of people who are into lolly and who are in that deep end, and literally there's no difference. They have the same attractions, talk about the same things. It's only the fact that one is animated and one isn't. And that's the issue for people. I'd hire him. That's great. That's great, Baradell. Was watching Fox News out of a mix of boredom and desire to argue over something. Hold on. Also, I'm interested as to how this idea came about. Mind providing some context? Was watching Fox News out of a mix of boredom and desire to argue over something. They were demonizing some sexual predator who had served his time and moved to my area. Kinda pissed me off that people tend to demonize these kinds of people so often. So I did. Why would that piss you off unless you're part of that community? What the heck? Why would that piss you off? Why would you have sympathy for that? You're not even adding... Okay, I'm gonna read this whole thing. So I decided to pose a question to the community to gather more information of why people might do such, and figured that the escapist was mature enough to answer a question like this seriously. The escapist? What? Are you saying people who enjoy like anime video games, who basically escape into different worlds, different pleasures, would somehow be okay with this? What? What do you mean answer a question like this seriously? They are answering it seriously, sir. Like, what are you talking about? Also felt it was more suited for the off-topic board than an advice board, an off-topic board than an advice board. Since I don't care about advice, I'm looking for different opinions of the matter. So you created a debate where you don't actually want to change your mind, you just want more people who agree with you? Okay. As long as he is good at his job and doesn't cause any problems, I'd hire him. If the child in question was a 17 or 16-year-old girl and it was more a case of sex than maul, it's a different case altogether than someone who actually maul a 5-year-old child in a van somewhere. The lack of context makes this ridiculously impossible. Exactly. If like you can't agree when you don't actually know the age of the child, why he committed the crime, how he committed the crime. Like, what are we on about here? What are we doing? Game lover. That's great. So, is it a certainty then that where before he was only accused, now it's been learned that he was convicted? Yes, they said he came back. He came back. That's what they said. Going by this, I would hire him. It's not like it's a toy store or a place you can, oh my days, these people are idiots, bro. Oh my days, these people are idiots. Same argument. If Harvey Weinstein is ever acquitted, or ever gets away with it in some sense, right? Or ever doesn't get charged, or gets charged, like convicted, however, right? However, he gets a lesser sentence, or he comes out early, he comes out in 10 years. Should he then get all of his power back in Hollywood? Should he be put in positions where he could be a producer again and be someone who has power over who gets a job and who doesn't? Jeffrey Epstein, if he was still alive, of course. Should he have got his job back? Got his position back? Just because, his job doesn't really mean he gets to work with kids directly. Come on, man. Give him the benefit. No, I'm not going to give him the benefit of the doubt. Are you insane, bro? This is not a type of crime you give a benefit of the doubt for. Especially because in the society, they could equate No, bro. This man clarified and he went on about 7-year-olds, and people were mentioning 12-year-olds. People are literally saying even if the person's 12 or 7 or 11, it's okay if the person agreed, you know? So I'd put him in that probationary period some companies do to see if I was thinking something to that effect. I think this plays into more general theories of crime. For instance, if a killer moved into your neighborhood, how would you react? I would want to move. What? Well, it would obviously depend on what he killed for. I mean, yeah, but still, if you heard that, this guy murdered somebody, even if he did out of self-defense, your brain, you yourself is still gonna think, he's capable of it. Even if he did out of self-defense, he's capable of it. She's capable of it. And you would still freak out. That's just normal human behavior to react that way. How sorrowful, regretful was he afterwards? You literally can never confirm this. You don't know. What caused him to commit the act? That's a good question to ask. These are all issues that for the most part get left out of the legal process. No, they don't. Literally do not. Which is a terrible shame, because in it, literally, the way you react can be used in court to determine if you are capable of committing that crime again. How many times have we seen on those YouTube crime channels where it would show the interview room, like the interrogation room, and you would see how the person reacts to the questioning, and that be used to further question that person or to potentially link him to the crimes. Through his behavior, you then start to build up a bit of a personality on how he would commit these acts and get a bit more of a lead. It's not the strongest thing, but you can definitely use it. How many times have we seen people who've murdered people on these YouTube videos, and how callously they react, and you're immediately like, yeah, you did it. You either really didn't care or you didn't. Like, come on. And also reasons. Of course we need to know reasons in the legal process. That's one of the things they ask you. That's one of the priorities. Which is a terrible shame, because in a case where a man kills someone else in a fit of rage, becomes depressed and vows to prevent such an action from ever occurring again, will face basically the same exact charge as someone who didn't feel remorse. That is literal cap. That's a lie. That is a lie. That is why it's up to the judge's discretion of how many years they get to give that person. What are you talking? That's why there's such a thing called self-defense. And that self-defense can be used to lower, if not only put you on probation and maybe ban you from using a gun depending on the self-defense situation. What are you talking about, man? Similarly, I'd say that if the ex-predator was genuinely sorry, you can't, and was taking steps to prevent such, how would you know what steps he's taking to prevent such a thing? Brother, this is not Disneyland, bro. I'd be more than happy to help him. If he either wasn't remorseful or didn't care about the way people viewed him, I don't think it's my place for me to help him, though somebody still should. Okay, you just said you would help him if he was actually remorseful. But now you're saying if he actually wasn't and he didn't care, then he should still get a job. I'd say that only a tiny fraction of people in prison today generally should be in prison. A tiny fraction? A tiny fraction? And those people that should be inside still need tons of psychological counseling and steps to ensure that they are safe if and when they are released. But so many convictions and prison sentences are just useless. No, they're not, bro. You can say, like, let's say 40-30% of crimes throughout the entire planet, like in terms of sentencing or potentially the person being wrongfully accused, yes, you can apply that to that. But bro, the majority of people in prison normally deserve it. Like, what are you talking about? That's why the barrier of evidence is so high. That's why there's still criminals committing terrible acts today. That's why there have been documentaries, movies, series, articles, like all types of reporting on how the justice system has failed to capture certain criminals because the bar of evidence is so high. Yes, there are certain things that need to be fixed where the bar of evidence should be higher, like in terms of child support cases, custody, all types of stuff. But still, to say a fraction only deserve to be there when the bar of evidence is so high in every country is wild. That is wild. But so many convictions, rooted in deeper issues such as poverty and broken homes. What? Sheesh. Wow, that was a lot. Originally, I was gonna make the video longer, but I'm not. I think this should be a whole separate video. Wow, this is crazy. Y'all, these are the same people who wonder why they do not have relationships with women, who wonder why women don't desire them. These are the same people who say that they deserve to be with others and who end up being more jaded and become like this. What is this? This is scary, man.